Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and bishops of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Salutations to the prophets, beloved teachers, exhorting the sheep in these last moments. The title of this epistle is going to be entitled, They Shall Proceed No Further. They shall proceed no further. This is in reference to those who continue to pull away the shoulder, mock and scoff at the prophets and teachers and shepherds set over them. This is in reference to those who continue to pick up this gospel and preach lies and falsities in the name of other deities. They shall proceed no further. This is in reference to 2/3 of Yasharallah, the Israelites, and the rest of the nations. They shall proceed no further. Their judgments are already set in stone and is moving throughout the earth right now as I'm recording. So, 2 Timothy chapter 3, and it reads, This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. We can see the rise and escalation of all things coming to a close here in the West, in the great Sodom and Egypt. And also in other parts of the world, we can see Cuba being shut down, no economic situation going on there, lights are closed. Other parts of the country as well, we don't know what's going on because of the Main Street outlet and news not putting forth the news and what's going on in the world. So there's a lot of things going on, and those that have not taken heed to the words of the prophets and continue to shrug and be contentious and reject salvation, ultimately you will be caught in Satan Hashatan's snare. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, not sanctified, not set apart, not washed, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. This is not in reference talking about those that have a good rapport with people. This is in reference to those that are hearkening and obeying the commands and the words of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. These are the ones considered good. Just because you may give out things here and there and say nice words to people, that doesn't mean you're good. It's about the heart posture and who you fear and who you reverence. That's who he's talking about. Verse 4, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of the most high power Yahweh. Those that continue to have this festival mindset, who needs to be entertained, who needs to be coddled like little babies. Those that need to have some kind of excitement going on in their lives other than dedicating themselves unto their one whole power, Yahweh, who is able to redeem and bring about salvation. These like to stay in the house of mirth. They are not in the house of mourning. They are looking to build up and establish themselves here in the great whore of Babylon and will be destroyed. They shall proceed no further. They are signed and sealed and about to be delivered. Verse 5, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. They profess themselves to be holy and righteous and God-fearing people, but they don't have the heart posture to suggest it. They don't bear the fruits to say that that spirit is walking in righteousness and being set apart and being holy and Kodash. They are liars and deceivers. Verse 6, for of this sort they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts. They entice people with their amusement. They say, come on, let's go this way. Let's partake in a festivity. Let's go and be entertained. Let's go watch a sports. I'm not saying that you have to be totally separated from things like this, but this is a mindset of someone who is not devoted. This is not a devotee. This is someone who continues to heap up for themselves their own lusts. Verse 7, ever learning, and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. They sit in settings where they read the Bible. They go to these facilities where they hear a good word, but they never come to the full knowledge of the truth. And it is to depart out of the ways and the customs of this world, to be very set apart and holy and kodash, to be made clean, and depart from yourself before the judgments ring about you. We have been professing and proclaiming, some of the elders, for decades and decades, that all kinds of tribulations is going to befall this place. Excuse me. And famines, the escalation of lawlessness, violence in the land. But yet they still continue to be emotionally tied to falsities and these false pastors and teachers that are teaching them lies. You are being lied to. 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 9, it says, "But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was." As prophecy continues to roll out and escalate, eventually these pastors, these teachers who have been teaching and preaching false lies, they're going to be made known who they are, because they will not have any answers to give the people, but will ultimately lead that sheep to the slaughter. This is a fair warning. This is a fair warning. Jumping over to chapter 4 of 2 Timothy, it says, "I charge thee, therefore, before Yahweh our power, and Hamashiach Yahushai, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season. Make sure you are well equipped and prepared to give a man an answer for whatever questions they ask. If you do not know the answer, cover your mouth. Don't just make something up, right? Be instant in season and out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort, and with all long suffering and doctrine, teach sound doctrine. You will be held accountable for teaching and preaching something that is not sound doctrine, but contrary to Yahweh Yahushai. You will be held accountable. Continuing on in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 3. "For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables." Deception is going to be running rampant. People are going to only want to be comforted by a good word. I understand it, but that is danger. That's dangerous. You tell them that there's going to be a lack of bread. You might lose family members. Your children might starve and suffer. You might lose your auntie. You're not going to have that job. You're not going to have that home. You're not going to be able to drive that car. You're not going to be able to grow that food. This is not something they want to hear. Where's the way to life, right? The way to life is to endure sound doctrine and persevere and have faith and believe that Hamashiach Yahushai is the only one that can cover you by his blood and nothing else. Nothing you have stored up, not your neighbor, not your congregation. No one's going to come together to save you. No one. You're on your own. Unless you're covered by Hamashiach Yahushai, covered by the blood, and have faith in those names. Yahweh wa Yahushai. Next book we're going to is found in Romans chapter 10. Romans chapter 10. "They shall proceed no further." They shall proceed no further. Romans chapter 10, verses 2 to 4. It says, "For I bear them record that they have a zeal of Yahweh power, but not according to knowledge. These are those who have a zeal for knowledge, but never coming to the truth thereof. They heap up to themselves doctrines of their pastor." They collect the breakdowns and the understanding of these false shepherds that have been put up to deceive them. And they continue to be deceived. And the deceived are of the deceivers. But those who have the ear to hear and the eyes to see and can hear the words of Yahweh, well, Yahushai, This is for you. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of Yahweh power, but not according to knowledge. For they being ignorant of Yahweh's righteousness, and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto righteousness of Yahweh. For Hamashiach is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth. This is picking up the full totality of the doctrine, understanding what righteousness is according to Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai. He says to depart from the ways of this world. Search out the scriptures and get understanding. Understand the prophetic things that are going to come to pass. They have to line up so you can be very watchful and alert and stay with the flock that's feeding you and not poisoning you at the same time. They shall proceed no further. Their lot is going to be fulfilled. These false shepherds and liars and 2/3 of our people who continue to mock and scoff. They say all kind of abominable, but it's okay because it's prophesied. Because we must endure these things. Matter of fact, let me get a verse to... let me get that. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 10, it says, therefore, I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation which is Hamashiach Yahweh Shai with eternal glory. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 5, but watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, because there's going to be a lot of pushback. They're going to say, no, this is the land of salvation. This is refuge. Everyone can come in and be saved. That's like Noah opening the door and just letting people come in. That wouldn't have worked out great at all. Do the work of the evangelist. Make full proof of thy ministry. Those who have picked up this plow to do the work, you have to continue. You have to push forward. You have to continue to grow and establish yourself, making full proof your ministry, because there are souls and lives on the line. This is not for self-glorification. This is not to go and heap up yourselves new vehicles and new homes and establish yourself a place where it's going to be a wasteland and a desolation. Isaiah chapter 30. Isaiah chapter 30. Verses 9. Right. Isaiah chapter 30 verses 9 to 13. It says that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yahweh power. These are the 2/3 of the so-called Israelites that continue to say we're not Hebrew Israelites or black Hebrew movements and whatever folly. That this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yahweh power, which say to the seers, see not, don't show us those things. We don't want to hear that stuff. We want to go and find, today is our day off. Our family wants to go and partake in a festivity and be enlightened and being uplifted. That stuff that you're trying to bring to the table, it's not welcomed here. Don't tell me about judgment. I had people say this to me. Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Again, we don't want to hear none of that stuff. They've been talking about that for years, and it still hasn't happened. This is what they say. But, you know, they're going to fulfill a particular lot. Verse 10, still in Isaiah chapter 30, it says, speak unto us smooth things and prophesy deceits. This is what they say. This is the words of Yahweh power written in Isaiah chapter 30 verses 10. You can read it for yourself. He's saying these things. He's identifying those that continue to walk in that very same fashion and manner this day, this hour. They don't care. If you are alert and you're watching, you can see it. You can see those that continue to just stay in the house of mirth. They want to be entertained like children. They're preparing for themselves in a fashion that is just not orchestrated by Yahweh power himself, but we're told to put down the burdens of this life, not just, up and quit your job and sell your car and do all those crazy things, but your spirit should be ready and willing to be taken out of this place in whatever fashion that may be. Verse 11, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Yasharallah to cease from before us. We don't want to hear the words of your God. We want to go and listen to the words of another God. Another God speaks nice and smooth things to us. He tells us everything's going to be okay. But your God, that's not him. He's supposed to be all loving. He's supposed to love everybody. But you're teaching another God. You're teaching one that hates. You're teaching one that's going to kill. You're teaching one that's going to bring all kinds of pain and anguish and suffering. No, that's not the God. Okay. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Yasharallah, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon, you stay there. You choose deliberately to stay in those environments. You choose to not conform and be refreshed in the mind and to be washed in the sound doctrine. You chose this. Verse 13, therefore this iniquity is sin upon sin. Iniquity is multiple amounts of sin. So if you're a vessel and you're supposed to be washed, he'll break you and build you back up again and put clean water in you and sprinkle some gold dust in there. So that way you could be a nice, refreshed, and something usable to him. You're not going to be that vessel. You're going to be the vessel that gets smashed and tossed into the fire. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach, ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall. So you can imagine a breach is something that is not able to sustain the pressure, or just think of a battlement, right? And behind one wall you have an army, and that wall is about to crumble. If that crumbles, the army can now come in and slaughter the opposing side. This is the same thing as you leaning on that wall to sustain your life, to sustain your faith, to sustain your hope, to sustain your way of being. It's going to come crumbling down for you, crumbling down on you, is what he's saying. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose break coming suddenly at an instant. Boom! Your calamity is going to come upon you. He says, "Be watchful, therefore, for you know not the day that he's going to come. You know not." So, if you're just willy-nilly and going about your day, not being circumspect and watching your surroundings, and have that heart posture to say that any moment, it can break out. All hell can break out. And in that very moment, you would want your rawak to be solid, knowing that you were forewarned. You know what's going on, because the lack of knowledge is going to breed fear. It's going to cause you to be unstable. It's going to cause you to make errors that are going to be detrimental to your life and salvation. We're going to go to Job. We're going to go to Job. Job 13. Job 13, verse 4 on down, it says, but ye are forgers of lies. These are those that will proceed no further. Those that have these elegant congregations. You put together great parties. I tell you, you're a party planner. You have these cosplay parties where everyone dresses up in a costume and has a good time with the appearance of being godly, but never coming to the understanding, the true understanding. That happens when you are redeemed and saved and brought into the kingdom, not before. You don't go before him. This is the place of your punishment. This is where you're supposed to be chastisements. You don't want to be chastised the appropriate way, to be made clean and spotless and blameless, and to be dressed like that bride. Then go ahead and put on your own special little garments. You're going to see. You're going to see. But ye be forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. You cannot heal the sick and brokenhearted. You cannot preach the gospel of salvation. You teach lies. It's all going to be okay. You're giving people incremental breakdowns, but not in full. You can't come to the full understanding, to give someone the full revealing of the gospel, to tell them that wars are going to escalate. There's going to be famine of words. You need to be ready to move. Not be on a homestead, not be somewhere tucked out. I guarantee you there's all kind of people making all kind of plans. Okay, so when this happens, we're all going to meet up here, and then and you're going to go first, and you're going to watch the roads, and there's all kind of people making plans for themselves. The Most High is going to block it all off, destroy it, you and your congregation. All those that continue to follow these false shepherds, they're going to lead you right into damnation. Verse 6. Hear now my reasoning and hearken to the pleadings of my lips. The Most High is saying, listen, I'm telling you that through my prophets, through my shepherds, through my teachers, I'm giving you a warning, but you choose to not hearken and hear. And not one of the prophets and beloved brothers are begging you to understand us, or not begging you to trust us. No, we're commanded to just give you the word, do it sincerely and in truth. This is not, bang, 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 listen to us or die, but it's a warning for you to just take a moment and line it up for yourself. So that way the blood is not on you or on our hands. This is not a hate speech. This is a warning, because the wrath of the Most High Yahweh is going to be very, very, very terrible. Very terrible. Very terrible. Verse 7. Will ye speak wickedly for the Most High Yahweh and talk deceitfully for him? Will ye accept this person? Will ye contend with Yahweh? So the Most High Yahweh, he puts his word into those vessels. The spirit of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, the intercessor, and goes and releases those prophets into the world to deliver you a message. And when you reject that messenger, when you reject that angel, when you reject that pillar, when you reject that man, you reject the Most High himself. It's got to be heartbreaking. It's got to be heartbreaking, but he knows the beginning from the end. He knows who will receive him. He knows all things. He is in control of all things. And the first thing you want to do is pour out your heart to him. It's your husband. It's your love. He's everything. He is everything. And you want to cleave to him. Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. You can only get truth and understanding given unto you by one set up from the Most High Yahweh, by Yahweh Shai himself, one from amongst your brethren of the 12 tribes of Israel. He will not give his word, his holy Kodash wording, his prophecies to any other nation but the nation of Yasharallah. We're the only ones that can come and tell you what's happening and give you some understanding and lead you to pastors that have more understanding and have built their foundation and their ministry in the strength of their lot. We will not tell you to go to anywhere else but to stay within the body of GMS. Like it or leave it. Like it or leave it. Jeremiah chapter 3 and 15, it says, I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. To substantiate what I just said, that he will not give his word unto anyone else, but to Jacob, which is of the 12 tribes of Israel, that goes back to Isaac and Abraham. Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20, it says, he showeth his word, all this stuff. He shows his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments. That comes with prophecy. That comes with the deeper meanings. That comes with dark parables. That comes with dark sentences to break it down, because we share that Rawak HaKodash, that Holy Spirit, and no one else has that spirit. It's only for the nation of Yasharallah. We're a spiritual people to be governed over a very carnal group of nations. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Yasharallah, Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. I don't know how you can get around that. I don't know how you get around that. But it's beyond me. Deuteronomy chapter 17. Deuteronomy chapter 17. Verse 15. It says, thou shalt, Deuteronomy chapter 17 and 15. This is also in accordance to that voting system that some people may continue to partake in, voting for another nation to rule over you. Those will be to 2/3. Those are going to be the ones that will be set in a particular category. They shall proceed no further. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15. They shall in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yahweh thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Those of the 12 tribes of Yasharallah, those are going to be the one that are over the nation of Yasharallah. Not anybody else. Not anybody else knows how to handle a stiff-necked people. Not everybody else. They'll talk to you smooth things, and they'll steal from you, and they'll lie to you, and they'll teach you all kinds of abominable things. And it's all throughout the scriptures that the Most High Yahweh said, do not take on the customs of the heathen, and do not give your daughters and sons unto them, but come out from amongst them. Be ye separate. You have to know who you are, who they are, and draw that fine line. Eventually, you decide. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. So, again, he showed us his word unto Jacob. He has not dealt so with any other nation, right? So, and the result of not hearkening and heeding unto the prophets and the teachers established for you to receive salvation, the Most High will be angry with you and not come to your rescue in the times of need, in your most darkest moments. But this is a period of mercy and grace being shown unto you, and then it will be not available to you. Proverbs 1 and 24, it says, I'll start at Proverbs 1 and 31 and 32. It says, therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. Because you haven't hearkened, because you haven't come out the way of the world, because you haven't had a heart posture that suggested that it was towards Yahweh Yahweh Shai, but you have a heart posture towards this world and continuing the activities and the festivities that Babylon has to offer. Now you get to enjoy the fullness of what Babylon has to offer, right? Jumping over to verse 24 in Proverbs 1, it says, because I have called, you have refused. He did not call you on a cell phone. He's not dealing with you directly, but he is giving instructions unto the prophets, teachers, and shepherds to give you this word. And just like he did with the time of Moses, Mashah, he instructed one man to be over the congregation. It was not the whole congregation going to get up to that up to the mountain to receive instruction from Yahweh himself, but they sent up Moses, the anointed, those that are given the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right? So verse 24, he says, because I have called, you have refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. You don't want to hear nothing he has to say. Give us smooth things. We don't want to hear what that seer has to say. We don't want to hear what that prophet has to say. Right? Because if you're not being forewarned the appropriate way, you're going to be caught off guard. There's going to be famine coming. There's going to be martial law. There's going to be the implementation of the injection in your skin, the epidermal RFID chip for you to buy and sell, the mark of the beast. If you're not being forewarned in this fashion, you're being fed lies. And if you continue to congregate with those that sit in a congregation of the dead and like to eat lies, you're going to eat a lie. Your husband and your wife are going to eat a lie. Your children are going to eat a lie. Your auntie, your uncle, your sister, your niece, all of them. The dog's going to eat a lie. So I pray that this was helpful. And until the next time, Shalom.